Hey everybody, good evening. Hope everybody's having a nice Friday evening. I just came on here just to randomly chat. Nothing specific. No real topic. Just wanted to come on and just say hello to who's ever out there who may be watching. Um, you know, I just want to, if I haven't already done it, I definitely read everybody's comments, make an effort, a strong effort to reply back to all of you. And I just want to say thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being kind and considerate and saying some wonderful, nice words that you've said about me. And of course, from time to time, um, Jan from New York City Saves Money. She comes on, about every Saturday or every other Saturday. And, we've gotten some really nice compliments about the two of us, the way we click, the way we interact. Um, One subscriber said that they enjoy watching she and I because we go together like peanut butter and jelly. And in reference to that, that has to do with a video that I put up a couple of days ago about a peanut butter smoothie. And if you've never had one, definitely consider watching the video and take a look at it. It gives you a breakdown of how to make it. Um, you don't necessarily have to use a protein powder in it. That's really an option, if you just want to, bring up your protein count a little bit, but you don't have to use it. You can just leave it, just your basic ingredients and put it together. And, and you don't necessarily just have to stick with the peanut butter and jelly. Um, Believe it or not, I've also done peanut butter and banana. What I have not tried that I really want to try in the near future, the peanut butter, the banana, and I want to try just a little bit of marshmallow, not too much marshmallow because I don't like an overly sweet tasting, sweet. I like it to be, I like to notice it just a little bit or to be level because my taste buds have changed over the years, especially. And there's a story that I have that I had done a success story with Janet a while back, and I might have even pointed it out on one of my videos. I had lost some weight, and in the course of me losing weight, I had to go back and reteach myself how to eat again, cut out a lot of different foods, you know, and that in turn also made it to where my taste buds changed because I used to be a real heavy soda drinker, colas, Pepsi, RC, things like that. I was drinking about 3 liters a day. And if I ate anything sweet, I would drink soda right behind it, which was not the best thing in the world to do. Um, you know, it really isn't. It's just, I don't recommend it. I was, very scared for my life at the time. I thought, I thought I was a diabetic, which in turn I was not. I was having trouble with my right eye. Thought it was a detached retina. Lo and behold, thank God, it was not that. I just had some bleeding in the back, but a little bit of a sad ending to that. But I've learned to adapt over the years because this was 20 years ago. Um, I'm left with 2400 vision in my right. Still have 20/20 over here though. So I know this, because of going to my eye doctor who has followed me all along, because of my hereditary medical disease, or, tuberous sclerosis that I have, or TSC for short. And there's plenty of information on the internet to look up about it. And and if you revert back about where I talk about getting personal with myself, on one of those, I had mentioned um, about that somewhere in one of those, you know, 3 or 4 part segment that I had done at the time. But it's good to see everybody here. Let's see. Hi, Richard. Hey, how are you doing this evening? Hope you're doing good. Hey, Janet. Good to see you. Hi, Sunset. So let's see. Just made keto cheese crisp crackers at home today. Easy, delicious. Oh, that sounds great. That I've never had before. I would be willing. I'm open to suggestions. So when I see something I haven't tried that catches my eye, I would be willing to try it. No problem. Um, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Janet, give. I think I had mentioned it to you prior to doing the video that you would like the. Well, I think you said you've already tried it, the peanut butter and jelly smoothie. And again, there's no real specific fruit. You don't have to use just mixed berry. You can do blueberry, you can do strawberry, raspberry, you could do peach, you can do, you can do strawberry banana, you could probably do orange in there, you could do like a fruit thing. I don't know how well orange and peanut butter would go, but as far as a smoothie goes, it's a blank canvas, because the way that I do it is I get my milk, my Greek yogurt, you know, um, and then of course, I use that Alive uh, multivitamin powder, protein powder that I put in it to beef it up. But you don't have to. You can. That's totally optional, and you can just add whatever fruit you want to it, and they're so delicious and healthy. Plus, now that we're in spring, and I know down here where I'm at in Florida, the temperature today was about 81, and it gets hot and muggy down here in the summer. So down here, I'm always looking for a drink that is refreshing and cool and delicious. So I definitely like to turn to smoothie. Oh, in thinking, here's a good one. I think I just created another smoothie. What you could do is take your Greek yogurt, your milk, whichever milk you want to use, almond, soy, cashew. There really is no wrong in that. You put that in your blender or mixer. And this would be a good mix, orange and pineapple. I do like orange juice and pineapple juice mixed together. Dole makes it. They also have an orange, pineapple, and banana that I also like. Because I am a citrus person. I love my citrus. I mean, there's no denying that. Even my grapefruits, I love it. But I don't. But I wouldn't suggest using a grapefruit in a smoothie unless you can get past that tart or that bitterness that grapefruit can give you. Let's see what else is new here. Okay, Sunset. Apparently, Sunset and Janet are conversing about. Okay. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to come on here and just have a little, chit chat, run my mouth. Uh, a little bored, don't have anything to do, so I figured I'd come on here and just, touch base on some things that have been covered in my videos, and or just talk about anything in general, or if you have a general question that you may want to ask me at random, that you may want to know about me that you don't know. Um, it's an open forum. I'm open, and I'll gladly tell you. If you if something has an interest about me that you want to know. Um, oh, okay. Let me see. Uh, Sunset. Yeah, if you, yeah, do that. I've never really had any keto recipes in the past. I've never done any, but from the way this sounds, I would be willing to give it a give it a try. But sure, definitely put that in the comments. I'd love to see the recipe. But let's see. One of the things I can tell you about me at random, um, music is my first love. Dick Clark is my idol. Yes, I was a big fan of American Bandstand as a child. I also liked Soul Train. I am considered by many to be a walking encyclopedia of music. A longtime friend of mine refers to me as Dick Clark Jr. because I know so much. I can always, oh, I hear a song. Oh, by the way, that's a cover. Such and such did it originally, or it's been done by these two people, or originally a country song, or. So I can, you know, I tend to do that when it comes to music. But I do love music. Years ago, in my 30s, 20s, teens, I used to like to record a lot of vinyl and CDs and things like that on cassette, reel to reel. I've recorded on DAT machines, DAT recorders, which is like, in case you don't know what that is, that's like an 8 millimeter videotape. It's very similar in looks that you record audio. It came out probably prior to, yeah, a matter of fact, it did. It came out prior to the CD recorder itself. That's what's going on now. But everything now is all set up on flash drives and, you know, SD cards, things like that. So, you know, a lot of that recording stuff, mini disc is another one I like to use. All of those recording medias, 8-track, all of that, it's all considered obsolete. But there is one thing about an obsolete media or recording medium, if you stop and think about it, you can't improve on it. The manufacturers have done or did all that they could to improve on that medium. So when that happens and the demand for an item, you know, goes downhill, then they discontinue it, or and it's no longer around. Let's see. Do you remember the midnight special in Don Kirshner's rock concert? Yes, I do. Now, I just want to let you know, Sunset, I was born in the 70s. I do remember it. I was a small child, though, watching that. But I did enjoy watching those. I thought those were great, fabulous programs. Um, Too bad you don't have TV shows like that around anymore. Do I like Abba? Well, Linda, let me give you a little backstory. As I was coming up as a child, my parents had a few of their albums. I remember the Voulez-Vous album. I remember Super Trooper. I remember hearing Waterloo. Um, songs like that. But there are so many ABBA songs that I know. I mean, it's not even funny. Chiquitita, I Have a Dream, The Winner Takes It All, Name of the Game, Take a Chance on Me. I mean, the list can go on and on. But one of the songs that I really like is one of their earlier ones. I like SOS. And the reason why I like that one particularly, of course, I like the other ones too. I like the way that song transitions. It's got different, as it goes along, it goes into one part, then it goes into another and another and another. But that's probably one of the ones that I really like a lot by ABBA. But absolutely, I grew up with them. I still listen to them. I have them on my Spotify. Actually, I have a lot of their stuff on there. Let's see. My high school was next to the American Bandstand Studios. When you see the girls in school uniform, that was us. Oh, oh my gosh. Okay, that's interesting, Sylvia. So you went to school in Philadelphia. Okay, but of course that's where, Bandstand originated. That is so cool. I have to agree with Sunset on that one. That's fabulous. Oh wow. Um, I just always envisioned myself as Dick Clark. I was up there interviewing all these different singers and rock groups, and you know, I always envisioned myself in that light. That's the reason why, you know, I I like Dick Clark a lot. And of course, his game shows that he did, the Pyramid and so on. Um, but yeah, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, that's a good one. Happy New Year by Abba. That's another one I didn't call out, but that's another good one. Um, One thing about Abba, and knowing me, knowing you, that's another one I like too. Um, they they were married. I don't know if any of you know that, but Bjorn, Agneta, Anna Frida, and Benny, they were all married to each other. That's where they get the name Abba. But I noticed about the time when they divorced, they eventually, they did go through a divorce, um, but I thought their music, toward the latter part of the 70s, like Take a Chance on Me, it was in that period, maybe a little bit after. But you definitely heard it on the Voulez-Vous album. Their sound got a little more into the disco, more disco based. And, I like that. I like the Voulez-Vous. I like Super Trooper. The Visitors, which was their last, before they disbanded. Um, but that's a good one. The first song that I remember as a kid. Let's see. Well, I will tell you a little story. Back when I was, and I mentioned this in my video, but I'll tell it again because it's dear to me. When I was about a year old, my mom, when I was in my playpen, my mom used to play me Tommy the Who, and then the rock opera Tommy, the one that came a few years later, where Tina Turner was the Acid Queen and Elton John was the Pinball Wizard. So I grew up on those two albums. Not only that, the Who is loyal to me, but I would have to say, and this is a true story. This actually goes back to my childhood. I don't know if this qualifies or not, but I wasn't even born yet. My mom said the song "The Sound of Philadelphia" by Mfsb, the one that was used on Soul Train back in the early 70s, because I was born in 74. But my mom said when that song would come on when I was in her womb, when she was a few months pregnant, she said I would kick. So I would have to say that was probably one of the first ones I ever heard. I mean, even though I was here, but I was not, in the flesh here. But I would have to say that would be one of the ones. One of the other songs that came later would have been when I was about 3. I remember hearing the song Telephone Line by ELO. So while I was, being alive, in the flesh, to, but in that case, I would say Telephone Line by ELO, which I think is a fabulous song. That's such a nice, I love the way that song is written. But that would be the first. And then the second one I also remember is one called Emotion by Samantha Sang. That was like in late 77, early 78, that had the Bee Gees in the background vocals. And the Bee Gees, that's another story within itself. That was another group that I grew up with at home with the Saturday Night Fever and, the album that had Tragedy and Love You Inside Out, Too Much Heaven, you know. But I learned about And You Should Be Dancing and, Jive Talking, all of that basically about the time that their sound was transitioning from, that 60s, Lonely Days type of sound over to the more disco sound, even though they categorized themselves, they said, we are not disco. Well, I wouldn't say that if you were in one of, if not the top grossing disco movies that ever came out. But Yes, I grew up with all different kinds of music. The Guess Who, Blondie, Rod Stewart. Um, let's see, Jefferson Starship, um, Peaches and Herb. I mean, so many different ones. Let's see. People forget that about Eddie Kendricks. Oh, Eddie, of course, from the '70s. Love the Bee Gees from him. Yeah, Eddie Kendricks. Yeah, from the Temptations. That's where he started out originally, and then in the early '70s he broke off and did his own thing, like Keep On Truckin' and Boogie Down, um, Get the Cream Off the Top, which is another one he did. Yeah, Eddie Kendricks. This is just me though. As a solo artist, I always thought Eddie Kendricks was a little bit underrated, but that's just me. I really did. I thought he was fabulous. I love that. I loved his vocals. And whenever I listen to a Temptation song, he is one of the first ones I can pick out, just like that, because he's got that high, that he just has that. I can't imitate him, but he has that certain octave different from the other Temptations. So that was why I was able to pick him out. Um, let's see. Yeah. So anyway, if you have anything else you want to ask me, definitely, do that. But I love all kinds of music. I'm not into the current. I'm nothing. I can't deal with the current music because I feel originality went out the window a long time ago. I like my '80s. I like my '70s, '60s, '50s. I get into some big band too. I like, Woody Guthrie and Count Basie, the Andrews Sisters, Glenn Miller, um, things like that. I like a lot of that older stuff. It's just it has to do with originality. And in the '90s, probably after '92, I never really could get into the grunge sound except for maybe a couple of songs. Um, but that was about it. Let's see. Do I like classical or opera? Actually, actually, I do like classical, like Mozart and Beethoven's Fifth and Tchaikovsky and things like that. Absolutely, I can get into that. To me, that's very, one of those types of music that's very. It helps me unwind. It helps me unwind. Let's see. Opera, absolutely. I grew up with Luciano Pavarotti and music of that sort. Let's see. Richard, do I like classic country? You're in for a surprise, actually. My father was from Tennessee, and I grew up on Kenny Rogers, Merle Haggard, George Jones, Lynn Anderson. Let me think back. Marty Robbins, um, Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette. Um, I love all of that old country music. Um, that's some of the best country you will ever lay your ears on. Especially the stuff from the '70s, especially the tear jerking '70s. Back when the song itself told a story. You know, um, and then I myself got into country. In the '80s, Alabama, Highway 101, Patty Loveless, Lori Morgan. Let's see, what else is there? Keith Whitley, which I adore. Sad that his life came to an end at such a young age, but Keith was good. Doug Stone, Alan Jackson, Kathy Mattea. Um, but anyway, you get the idea. And then in the '90s, you had a whole bunch of different stuff in the '90s. Some other groups like Tracy Lawrence. You had Black Hawk, Little Texas. I remember Little Texas from a show called Star Search. with Ed McMahon. That was one I used to like to watch on Sunday nights, coming to TV. And I feel that show is what started a lot of your other that came later. But no, Richard, that's absolutely phenomenal. I'm right there with you. I love the old country. Any day, Hawkshaw Hawkins, Gene Shepard, um, Hank Williams Sr. I meant to mention him. My dad was into that. I like Junior as well. Waylon Jennings. So yeah, Jerry Reed, Eastbound and Down, all of the, Amos Moses and all of that. Let's see. Right, the early Bee Gees was folk, like back in the 60s. But I'll tell you which one I really like in that kind of period. I love the song Lonely Days. I don't know what it is about that song with me. I just love it to death. I really do. Yeah, Marty Robbins. One of the ones that sticks out is El Paso. And I think there's one he did called My Woman, My Woman, My Wife. That was another one I remember hearing early on. Let's see. Let's see. Love early 60s and ups BG. Okay, BG. Yeah, it's funny that you mention the early 60s. To me, if you stop and think about something for a minute, if you kind of do like a little bit of an A/B comparison, in the 50s, you had rock and roll starting around 1954, 55, and that was a breath of fresh air that the 50s needed, compared to what you were hearing prior to that. But the music was still good. But then I like to think of that early 60s period, like 60, 61, 62, 63. 4 was like mixed because you also had the British music invasion. But to me, that's like post rock and roll. It's almost the same thing as disco and post disco that came, like 79, 80, 81, 82 in that time frame. So I definitely compare the two as an example. Let's see. For country music, I like Nathan Barchis. He's from West Virginia someday. Why does that name sound familiar? Um, I hope my cousin doesn't get upset with me, and I don't think she even knows I have a YouTube channel. But I have a cousin who is into the country scene, and she's up in Nashville. Her name is Jordan Stoddard, Jordyn Stoddard. And I'm hoping at one point in time in her musical career, she hits it big and has a record label, if not already, because I don't really keep up with that side of the family as much as I would like to, especially with the pandemic and the COVID and everything that's hit. There's a lot of away time that I've been dealing with that wasn't so much, say, a few years ago. Um, Appalachia mountain music and vocals is nice to add in at times. Let me see. I think I've heard of that. I do believe I've heard of that style music. I'm pretty sure I have. But that I just thought I'd come on here. That gives you an idea if you didn't already know about me. I love my music. I gotta have it. In my car. I listen to it on YouTube, Pandora. I have another one called Deezer, Deezer, that I like to listen to at times. iHeart. Now, iHeart, I like to go on there and listen to Casey Kasem's American Top 40. They do a lot of the shows that were done years back. And you listen to a song back when it was new, but now not so much. Let's see. Yeah, Richard, I can get into rockabilly too now. That's some good stuff. That's some good music. Um, you know, Yeah, this is great. I really appreciate you guys asking me all these questions. I really do. Um, yeah. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, Eddie Kendricks. He's just. I love him. I love his music. I just always thought he was an underrated artist as a solo artist. With the Temptations, different story. Let's see. Linda Olson, love all that old times mountain music. Carter. Wow. All right. Carter Family. I have one of their CDs. It's definitely that's definitely some interesting music because they get into some yodeling in that, which is okay. But I also have to remember, stuff like Wildwood Flower and all that back in the 20s. It was a totally different time, different sound. But Carter Family, I like. Let's see, Johnny Cash. I like June Carter Cash by herself. I like Roseanne Cash, Dina Carter. So I'm calling out these different, uh, you know, anything that reverts back to the Carters. Eddie Kendricks was funk guitar or R. True, yeah, he was. He was. But again, you know, I always thought he was on the underrated side. I really did. But that's just me. Well, anyway, guys, if you don't have anything else you want to ask me, I'm just going to go ahead and bring this live to a close. I want to thank all of you for chiming in. I loved interacting with you guys. I really enjoyed this. Be on the lookout. I'll probably do another one here in the next few days or so because I haven't done any lives by myself since the summer. So, but I'll be doing another one here in the next few days. So definitely be on the lookout. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I mean, I may expand on this subject. It might be television. It might be grocery stockpiling. Again, I'm random. I'm eclectic, so it really doesn't matter. The subject line, as long as we all interact, and I really appreciate that, and I enjoy it. So, well, thank you, Sunset. Uh, I thought it was too. I really enjoyed you guys being here. So, you guys take care, and I'll see you guys in the near future, next few days. Be on the lookout. Just want to mention tomorrow at 1:30, Jan from New York City, and I will be on, and we're talking about um, labels, misleading labels on canned goods. We're talking about different food items in the grocery store. So definitely tune in for that. Let's see, all the shows from the 60s and 70s. Not on now is a good subject. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. We can talk about. Oh, I love the older TV programs. Back in the 60s, 70s, even the 80s, which was some of the best TV programming you could even watch, as far as I'm concerned. Richard, no, I was not. Let me give you a little feedback on that. My dad was in the military, and when he reenlisted to go back in 1962, he wound up going over to Catania, Sicily, or Sigonella, and that's where he met my mom. And they started out as friends, and then about a year or so later, they got married. And my sister was born over there, but then in 65, came to the States, Mississippi, then Newport, Rhode Island, then the Pentagon, which was not the greatest time in my dad's military career. But then he goes back over to Sigonella in December 31, 72, January 1st, 73. And in that period, that's when I was born. So I was born in Catania, Sicily, in 74, Halloween Day, as a matter of fact. I was late based on, 74, due dates. The doctor said I was 15 days late. But based on today, it's probably about a week, 8 or 9 days. because back then they were not near as accurate as they are today. But I was born overseas, and I came to Florida in 1982, and I've basically lived here since I was about 8 years old, or just shy of 8. So, that was, to give you a rundown, of my background, of where I'm from and where I'm at and so on. But yeah, I did spend the first almost 8 years of my life in Europe, and then my dad went to Rota, Spain at the end of 76, early 77. And then I stayed there until July of 82, and then I came to the States. Um, oh, Richard, you're a Scorpio just like me. Your birthday's 4 days before mine. Oh, how cool is that? I got to admit, I mean, I get along with just about everybody, pretty much 99.8, 99.9% of the people. I really do. But I wouldn't change my birthday for nothing in this world. And I like being a Scorpio. I love the quality. I love the storyline behind it. I like what it says about a Scorpio. I don't wear the zodiac on my cuff, so to speak. But a lot of the attributes that has to deal with the Scorpio zodiac do pertain to me. A lot of them are there. Oh, okay, you're 63. Okay. You know, Richard, I got to tell you, the 50s is my favorite decade. And the year you were born is my favorite year. I don't know why I say that. I always felt that rock and roll music peaked about 58. That was just my take on it. Somebody else could tell me different or just the opposite. But I feel right around 1958, that's when, music hit its mark. And you had a lot of great music out at that time. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, the Platters. Um, I could go on and on, but that gives you K Star, I think, is another one. The Coasters. Um, so many different groups. The Drifters. Just a great time. I would do anything to like Back in the Future. I'd love to get in a time machine and go back to those times. I really would. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Yeah. Mm, you know, yeah, 58. That's a great time. Well, Beth, it's all right that you showed up late. That's fine. I understand. Um, you know, better late than never. Okay, doo-wop. Let's see. I can definitely get into stuff like Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. I know there were a lot of your early 50s had a lot of your doo-wop. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a little bit of a blank, but I do like doo-wop music though. I do like doo-wop. That's some good stuff. That whole decade. I mean, I can listen to even stuff like Nat King Cole. He's another one I like too. Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. Um, wow. I know that's not doo-wop, but they fell in that in the decade. But yeah, big band. Yep, 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 yep. Absolutely. Love all that stuff. Well, guys, I can't think of anything else. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see. Well, wait a minute. Let's see. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I remember them. They were probably like early 60s. I know one of their first songs was Sherry, which is a good one, and Walk Like a Man, and Let's Hang On, and then, the list goes from there. Oh, yeah, Richard, Sammy Davis Jr., yeah, the Candyman. That's a great song. I know he did a lot, a few other ones besides that, but that one, to me, that's one that sticks out a lot is the Candyman. But I like Sammy Davis. He was also good in a lot of movies, a lot of old TV shows. I remember him in an episode of, again, I like all that older way back. I remember him vividly in an episode of The Rifleman that was pretty good. Oh, and in Cannonball Run, I remember him in that too. Let's see. Oh yeah, Mr. Bojangles, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Absolutely. Yeah, that was in the early '70s. That was a good one. I knew a man, Bojangles, and he sang. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Wow, guys. I'm gonna have to go ahead and wrap this up. But again, I think I really enjoyed interacting with all you guys. This was phenomenal. Be on the lookout. Maybe in the next couple of 3 days, and like what was mentioned, I can talk about TV shows, not a problem. Um, I grew up in probably one of the last decades you had television, the '80s. You didn't need cable TV back then. You had CBS, ABC, NBC, and of course, I remember back when Fox started back in '87, and I used to love the programming back then, like Tracy Ullman Show, um, 21 Jump Street. That was another one. Johnny Depp, all those. Holly Robinson was on there. That great show. But um, yes, it was. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here. This was fabulous. I really enjoyed it. But be on the lookout, as I mentioned a few times over. And I'll see you guys next time. But the next time that I decide to go live, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up, like a couple of 3-4 hours. That way you guys know that I'm going to be there. This was just something I thought of spur of the moment because I got a little bored. So be on the lookout. All right, guys, have a good night and be on the lookout for Jan and I tomorrow at 1:30. I think you'll like it. Bye.